We're going to go on the radio now. Start the clock.
This is Behind the Law with Justin Clark on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to the program. It's another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. Thank you for spending your evenings here with me on our favorite sports radio station. My name is attorney Justin Clark, 321-282-1055. You can also watch the show by following at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any social media platform. 2 television shows for you this weekend and every weekend. Saturday at 12:30 p.m. over on CBS, it is You Have Real Estate with me, Justin Clark. And then Sunday mornings on TV 27 at 10 a.m. it is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television. I don't see Miss Brianna here today, but Tyler Watkins is here. Hello, Tyler. How are you, sir?
Good, sir.
Filling in again, admirable. How many times have we done the show together now? 3, 4?
4 times.
4 times. I'm glad you're counting. Good job. Good to see you. How you been? Everything good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very special show for you today. We'll do a little bit of news. We'll also play Stump the Clarkie in the second half hour and an awesome interview. Today, we're talking all things solar energy. Look, I was paying $500 a month for my electric bill. $500 a month. Tyler. Is that ridiculous? $500?
That's insane. That's astronomical.
Every month, just automatically. I go to my little Wells Fargo account or whatever, and just automatically $500. Look, we have to keep our ACs on, right? We got to keep lights on for our family. But I found out there was a better way. I got so sick and tired of this. I mean, look, maybe $450 in the winter, when we got to use the fireplace once or twice during the winter. But this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I decided it was time to go solar, and that's why I brought in Stephen Bator, the COO of IQ Power Solar. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
So am I kind of normal? I mean, are people upset about these huge electric bills out there, or is it just me?
No, pretty much everyone is unhappy about having a massive electric bill. I mean, your bill's pretty bad. But,
but when you came into my house and you said, and I told you what the electric bill was, and you said, Justin, I think I can get you down to like $50 a month, and you delivered. I mean, everything that you guys did and you promised, you have delivered. But how in the world do you do it?
Well, the key is to make sure that you reduce before you produce. So that's one of our key philosophies at IQ Power is reduce electric waste and consumption before you produce electricity, because ultimately producing electricity is the most expensive thing to do. And if you can avoid that by having a more efficient home, then that's really important.
And I thought that was interesting, and I'm sure, there are some bad solar companies out there, first of all. I mean, I did my research before I chose IQ Power Solar. But when you guys came in, I was like, Steve, why are you up in my attic? Why in the world would you're coming here? You should only be on the roof putting, things on my roof. But yet you were in my attic. You were looking at other parts of the house I had no idea you even look at. Why would you do that?
Well, what people don't really realize is an electric bill comes from somewhere. It's not just, this is your bill every month. Ultimately, if you're using 2,000 or 3,000 kilowatt hours a month, where are you using that? What's funny, and I'm not going to say that there's bad companies. It's just that there's a lot of people that get involved in solar renewable energy and they treat it like a contracting business. But it's science. So when you start to add speculation to science, it's kind of an oxymoron, right? So what we try to do is really understand the science of electricity and home energy behavior. And the only way to do that is to figure out what's contributing to your bill. Why is your bill high, et cetera, and then addressing those issues.
Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando, Justin Clark here, talking to Stephen Bator, COO of IQ Power Solar. So, Steve, when someone does call you and they say, look, can you come out, tell me what you can do for me, there must be a charge for that, right?
No, it's free consultation, free energy assessment.
And what does that entail?
What we do is we send in a solar consultant. We have them all over Florida every day in 2 or 3 homes a day. And what they do is they go in the house, and the first thing they ask is, what do you want to achieve with solar? I don't know if you remember your meeting, but
I do.
That's the most important question. And usually we get, one of a couple answers. We want to get rid of our power bill, or we want to save in our power bill. And you're just like, I'm sick of paying
Yeah.
sick of paying $500.
In fact, I think you said I was a difficult customer because I couldn't really define exactly what I wanted, other than I don't want to pay $500 a month.
Yeah, essentially. But we assess the house. We evaluate all the different systems that contribute to electricity. We study the behavior of that house, because one really unique thing about solar, Justin, is solar will have a very different value to you versus someone across the street. Solar hot water. If you eliminate a hot water tank with solar hot water, the value of that tank is only comparable to what it's replacing. So, if there's one house that takes one shower every day, and they don't use the dishwasher, and they never wash clothes with cold water, versus your house where there's 4 showers a day, there's baths, there's the dishwasher running 4 times a week. That's a lot of electricity that's coming from the heating of water. So, it's just really unique how behavior in every home is so important in calculating the proper system.
But is that pretty typical, though, that you can go in, and I'm not asking for exact numbers here, but to almost eliminate the electric bill altogether? Is that normal?
In most of the homes we go into, yeah, we can. And a lot of the times, the only thing that would really prevent us from doing that is if the house doesn't really have, the good exposure. If they have absolute tree coverage on the southern exposure, or the only roof that they have available is the northern exposure. But we don't end up in these houses because after we set meetings, the lead goes through a validation process, and then if there's something wrong where their roof isn't good for solar, we call them and let them know. There's even instances where there's maybe just one tree that's creating some shade, and we call them and let them know. And what's crazy is some companies won't do that. If you want to buy solar, they'll put it on your roof.
Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando, Justin Clark, Stephen Bator, COO of IQ Power Solar. So someone comes into my law firm, Steve, and they want to talk to me about bankruptcy. Bankruptcy really helps a lot of people, but there are some people that it's not right for. And you know what I tell them, right? No, you can't hire me because that's not the right way to go. I mean, would you say that is the business principles you guys have as well at IQ Power Solar? There must be customers that you actually turn down, right?
Yeah, we out of all the leads we take in, we have about 65% of them that want to have a meeting with us. We only accept 17% of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have a 17% acceptance from all of the leads, from the overall. But, out of the 60%, 17% is roughly 26%. So,
but let's say that you do come to my house finally, right? You come to my house, and then I just decide at the last minute, for whatever reason, I don't want solar. You're going to charge me, right?
No.
Nothing.
Absolutely not.
So really, it's an easy thing to do. We're going to have you come in and let's see if solar is right for you. I just don't understand any of the downfalls. I really can't think of any negative that comes with having solar panels on your house. I can't. I mean, I'm trying to. I can't think of anything.
No, I agree with you, but I think the underlying question you're asking is why people don't have the conversation, Justin.
I can't figure out why there are not panels on every single house in America almost.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes we call leads that were created a few years ago, but they're still in the system, and they're like, "Oh, we met with someone. It's not for us. We don't want to spend $70,000." They're like, "What?" So
yeah.
Who knows? Either they heard some rumors, or someone badmouthed the industry that didn't really understand it, or they got a quote from some company that just came in and wanted to cover the roof with solar, which honestly, 8 out of 10 companies,
right.
What they're going to do before they come to your house is figure out how much solar can fit on your roof, and they're going to have a pre-printed proposal for that system. And what's crazy is, Justin, we couldn't have fit enough solar on your roof to get rid of your bill.
Is that right?
If we didn't, yeah, it's not possible. If we didn't address the problems, then we couldn't have gotten your bill where it is. And what's crazy is, even if you did have the space, if we put a $70,000 system on your roof, you didn't actually eliminate your carbon footprint. That you still have a super inefficient home. You still have a really inefficient pool pump. You still have a really inefficient hot water tank. You still have no attic insulation. Your AC is still running 2 extra hours a day. So it's not like, boom, your problem's fixed. All you really did was change the nature in which you fund your horrible electric bill.
And I think one of the big questions that comes up, so I mean, if you're listening right now and you're thinking about getting solar, one of the things that people may hesitate about is, well, how is putting solar panels and making my house energy efficient going to affect the resale value of my home? And what is up with that tax credit that you get when you put solar on your roof? Let's talk about that and many more with Stephen Bator of IQ Power Solar right on the other side of this very short break. It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando.
It's all right, bro. We can sort it out later.
We can tag you after.
Yeah, definitely.
What about IQ? Is it tagged?
It was just showing people.
Oh, is it yours? Okay.
We can access this later, correct?
Oh, yeah. All right. You guys ready?
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN.
One? I have no idea what that is. Do you? Do you have any idea what song that was? I really don't.
No.
It says Timbaland, but I don't know what that means.
Oh, Timbaland's a rapper.
Oh, God. It didn't sound like a rap song to me.
Ali picked that one for sure.
Justin Clark back with you here on Behind the Law. Thanks for spending your evenings with me on our favorite sports radio station. Tyler's here. Tyler, how are you, sir?
Good, sir.
And Brianna is taking the night off, which she's been doing more and more lately. I don't know what the world's going on with her. But anyway, Tyler, I always love to see you, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Stephen Bator's here. He's the COO of IQ Power Solar. So the two questions before the break, Steve, were resale value and this tax credit. Let's start with resale value because, I talk to a lot of real estate agents throughout the week, throughout the month, and I think there is maybe some unknowns when it comes to solar and real estate agents. I have a lot of real estate agents that listen to this show as well. Let's clear this up right now. How do you think solar affects the resale value of my home?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is distinguish things like solar pool heat from things that produce electricity, right? Solar pool heating is a luxury. That increases the home value just like a gas, pool heater would or a propane heater would. Sure, it saves you $60 a month when you heat your pool, but ultimately it's still just a luxury. And you're not, if you spend $6,000, doing solar pool heating, it might increase your home value 35, $4,000. But that's just like any other pool heater. But also, and to be clear, because I know we're going into that, when you buy solar pool heat, you don't get a tax credit on that because that's not a qualified solar purchase, So, but when it comes to solar photovoltaics or, solar panels that produce electricity and actually essentially is your own power company on your roof, it increases your home value substantially. So one big thing about solar versus another type of upgrade. So, we talked about kitchen cabinets before. If you spend $30,000 on custom kitchen cabinets, the contractor pulls the permit on the material cost. So you might pay the contractor $30,000, but you're really pulling the permit on $9,500. So the property tax assessors are viewing the permit and amending the property value based on that, and then your property taxes go up with that value increase. With solar, because it's being federally incentivized, if you buy a $30,000 solar system, we have to pull the permit on $30,000. So one cool thing is you're getting a 30% tax credit.
Right.
So you're getting a $9,000 tax credit, which is essentially the IRS surrendering $9,000 back to you. So your net investment is $21,000. And then the other thing is when the property appraiser reassesses your value, they're looking at the same permit. That's one way of doing it. Your property value goes up pretty much close to that. And they can increase your property taxes for the property value increase. But as far as other real estate agents watching this, one of the easiest formulas to use, and this is an energy efficiency standard, or a formula that you use with almost all energy efficiency products. The value for something that's energy efficient is how much does it save a homeowner per year, and then you multiply that between 12 to 15 years based on who's making that calculation. So if a solar system is saving you, $2,000 a year, then, if you use a 12-year calculation, that's worth $24,000 because that's what the homeowner is going to save. If it's saving you $2,000 a year for 15 years, that's $30,000. And I'll tell you, it's not a coincidence that the connection between the energy efficiency formula and the cost of the system is very close to the same.
So let me just make sure I understand this. So let's say that I add an addition to my house or something like that, and the property appraiser sees that, and the taxable value of my house increases, meaning my taxes increase. But if I add solar, I'm increasing the value of my home, but by law, my taxes don't go up?
It's one of the things put in place to protect people from going against solar. You know, they don't want any little things that kind of prevent people from wanting to go solar, because there's a lot of things that could easily kind of affect the calculation to make the return on investment make less sense. So it's one of the measures that have been taken to protect the return on the investment sector.
Unbelievable. Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here. Stephen Bator with IQ Power Solar. We're talking all things solar energy, renewable energy. Do we want to finally get out from under the grips of these electric bills that have gotten out of control, or we just pay them? It's just like taxes and electric bill, right? Death, taxes, and electric bill. That's what they're not including. We just assume we have to pay this, but there's a better way. There's a better way than paying $400 and $500 a month, especially in the summertime, and that way is by putting solar panels. And it's good for the environment, too, putting solar panels in your home. But, Steve, I'm a little nervous because I don't have a lot of cash sitting in the bank for a huge down payment. How does it really work? I mean, how much do I have to pay you down, that sort of thing?
All of our programs are no money down. And not only that, you don't make your first payment until after the system's installed. So if you decide to go solar with us, you're paying us nothing. You know, we do the permitting, we include the permitting fees, we interact with your HOA, which is another question. But, you know, there's a Florida statute, the HOA cannot reject solar. So,
really?
Yeah, so we go through that process for you.
I thought HOAs were God or something. That's what I heard.
Not in the solar sector.
Wow. Even solar trumps HOAs. Wow.
You know, and sometimes we've had them contest us, but we deal with that, you know, pretty quick. But our goal at IQ Power is to make the customer experience as seamless as possible. So we do that. We pay the permit fees. We get the engineering, and then we schedule install. It's pretty simple.
All for nothing down. There's
nothing
no down payment.
Nothing down.
That's just incredible. All right, let's talk about this tax credit a little bit, because I think people are confused as to what it really means and how we really get this tax credit when we put solar on our house. Explain the tax credit for me.
Okay. To be clear, I'm not a CPA, but I'll explain it to you exactly.
This is not accounting advice,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, but this is his understanding of how it works.
The tax credit is a dollar for dollar credit, 30% for solar qualified product purchasing. So if you spend $30,000 on solar, 30% of that is $9,000. You're going to get a credit. One of the number one confusions is it's not a rebate, it's a credit. That means that you don't get to write off $30,000 and just not pay taxes on that. No, if at the end of the year you owe $20,000 in taxes, if you owe $20,000 in federal taxes, and you have a $9,000 tax credit, now you owe $11,000.
Wow.
So, and a lot of times what people are confused about is, well, I get money back. Well, you get money back because you've been, sending the IRS money every 2 weeks, and they determine that what you owe is less than what you paid. So it's not like you don't get you still get the tax credit.
Right.
It's just structured differently, but you get it just the same.
And my understanding is that there's a possibility that the tax credit could be reduced soon, or?
It's not a possibility, it's a certainty.
It's going to happen.
It is absolutely happening. If you don't get solar by December 31st, 2019, the tax credit is dropping substantially. The average person will lose thousands of dollars in benefits. It's not a game. And what's crazy is and this is some insight to the marketplace, you don't have until December 31st, 2019. We've already had to change our process to where our pre-sites for engineering have to happen within 3 days of the sale. Because there's a lot of people that have been looking into solar since 2006 that are waiting until now because the tax credit's ending. So, man, by October, contractors are going to be booked out till February.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, now is the time to look into solar, especially if you want to get that full tax credit. And there's only one company to call, and that is IQ Power Solar. That is who I used for my own solar. And instead of having a $500 bill every month, I'm looking at $50. $50, Yeah, I think you told me the other day, when you go from 500 to 50 is like Netflix or something. You know what I mean? You don't really notice the Netflix thing coming out. Now my electric bill, I don't even notice it. And that's just a testament to you guys. But one of the most impressive things about IQ Power Solar, and I said this at the beginning of the show, is that you went into my attic. You looked at my insulation, because you're not there just to put solar on my roof. You're there to make my house energy efficient, right? And what other things can you do? I mean, when you look at insulation, what are some of the other things that you're looking at to make my house energy efficient?
Everything that you do in your house that consumes electricity. And what's funny about attic insulation, right, is you have an AC unit that's supposed to have a life of 5 to 8 years. That's based on operating a couple hours a day. When your attic insulation isn't properly keeping the hot air out of your attic from, conductively transferring into your house, your AC just keeps running. And Justin, when's the last time you switched your fan blades in the winter versus the summer?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So what's crazy is you have all the hot air transferring through your ceiling, and your attic fan or your ceiling fan goes ahead and circulates the hot air around your house. So your AC keeps running. And it's just your AC works an extra 2 hours a day, which is what converts to your electric bill.
But you're thinking maybe, okay, I want to get solar, but I might want to rent my home out in 2 to 3 years. Is that going to prevent me, or should it prevent me from putting solar on my house? No, but we'll tell you why. Right on the other side of this very short break, Justin Clark with you on Behind the Law. So 4:30 you said this morning?
Yeah, man.
I slept in tonight. I'm tired.
Every Thursday and Saturday, I like to meet my install crews on the field.
Oh, yeah?
To be there and show them, and
Right.
just work with them. And I usually just say, hey, what's the worst thing that you have to do today? So today, I ended up digging a trench.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
So what is do they try to cut out early when it's rainy season, or what do they do?
No, I mean, our guys are really hard workers, man. But the only thing that we don't do is we don't push the limits when it comes to OSHA standards or safety.
Yeah.
Like, when it's raining, we'll dig, but we're not running the wires, and we're not going to be on the roof, and it's crazy, man. You're carrying, these panels are 50 pounds, whether it's two guys carrying one or one guy carrying one, it's hard to walk on a roof. You got to be strapped in, and so we just kind of stay off the roof when if it's pouring and stuff like this, but they're all making fun of me today. Dig.
Yes, sir. It's going to be on solar energy.
I'm not interested in that.
You don't want to play?
Just kidding. We could play.
You wanna play?
I'll be way wrong. But depends how vague it is, but I'm excited.
All right.
Super easy questions. Nothing to worry about.
I'm pumped. Stuff the card. No, I've seen those shows. They're everyone's off.
I make them so nervous because I'm so smart. Right.
You're like a ninja of the mountain.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready? Let me start my clock again.
How much time is left?
We got 20 minutes of showtime left.
I'm excited.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Dude, they gave me some new music and I'm dangerous now. I don't know what is going on here.
Just changed my whole vibe.
Please send this music back. Justin Clark here with you. It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Also, watch the television programs this weekend and every weekend. Saturday, 12:30 p.m. over on CBS. It is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And then Sunday morning, it is this show, Behind the Law. But it's Behind the Law on television, TV 27 at 10 a.m. You can also interact with us right here every single weeknight at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch even. I don't know what Twitch is, really, but we're on there. And I'm sorry if I offended you if you love Twitch. I'm just sorry about that. If you have any questions at all, 321-282-1055. Tyler Watkins, our social media marketing expert, is here. Hello, Tyler.
Hello, sir.
Brianna is out today. Very special guest joining us in studio, Stephen Bator. He is with IQ Power Solar. Do yourself a favor. If you're tired of paying $500, $400 a month for electric, for your utility bill, there's another way. Look, we just pay it because we're used to paying it. You know what I mean, Steve? I mean, we've just been paying it our whole lives. Our dad would come home on Friday with his paycheck and say, well, honey, we got to put 30 towards the electric bill. That's just how we grew up. But there's a better way. Is there not a better way, Steve?
No, there is.
And the better way is by looking into solar. My bill went from $500 a month to $50 a month. And it cost me nothing. It really cost me no money down. Yes, I'm going to end up having to pay a little bit over time. But the amount I'm paying is so much less than I was paying for the electric bill. That's why it's a no-brainer to me that people would do that. And not only that, you're helping the environment and you're getting a huge tax credit at the end of the year. It's just a no-brainer. Please do yourself a favor. Call IQ Power Solar today. Steve, phone number, website.
It's iqpowersolar.com, and you can call 407-585-1018. We have a dedicated phone room there answering the calls, Monday through Friday.
So, unfortunately, a rite of passage for coming on this program, Steve, is we got to play this little game against each other, all right? It's 4 questions. We'll write them all down. We'll come back and score the game.
4 questions.
But the problem is they like to make the questions hard because they like to see me lose. Are you ready to play?
Okay.
Let's play Stump the Clarky.
All right, and now it's time for Stop the Clarky. Come on, Clarky. We need you to get over here. We've got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarky. Get over here.
All right, Tyler Watkins, what is said category today?
It is about the solar industry.
Oh, I'm so surprised. All right, let's get right into it. Tyler, question number 1.
Question number 1. As of 2018, what is the value of the solar industry?
Ooh.
Can we have some clarity on that?
This is what they do every time. I'm like,
What do you mean the
we made in
value?
Florida, nationwide,
How much is
worldwide.
spent? How many people are employed?
Yeah, I know.
How much is generated in the
I
economy?
mean, the hardest part of answering questions on this show is trying to decipher what the question even means. It seems like
I'll
lately.
just throw it. I'll guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess
Do I
something,
write
too.
this down?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Does this include like the cost of the sun? I don't know. I don't know. Tyler, I'm sorry, buddy. I love you. Bless your little heart. That's what they say in Tennessee. All right, question 2.
Question number 2. To date, how many solar installations have been made in the United States?
See, I like that question better. That's a little more clear, I would say. I don't know the answer. Don't get me wrong, but at least I understand the question.
I don't. Are we talking about solar hot water, solar attic fans?
Oh yeah.
Good God! I'll
I
just take
think
another
all.
guess.
I know IQ Power Solar's done a hell of a lot of them, right?
We do quite a bit, yeah.
It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here, playing against Steve Bator of IQ Power Solar. It's Stump the Clarky, question 3.
Question number 3. 40 gigawatts of energy can power approximately how many homes?
Now, this is my blank stare. Could you repeat the question?
I need a calculator.
Yes, sir. 40 gigawatts of energy can power approximately how many homes?
Melody's calculator.
Of course, go ahead. I mean, I wouldn't even know what to calculate, pal. I don't even know what a gigawatt is, to be honest. It sounds like a lot. Sounds like a big one. Giga. What's more than giga? Who knows? Justin Clark here with you. Steve Bator's joining me from IQ Power Solar. Please give them a call. If you want to reduce your electricity bill, do like I did. Call IQ Power Solar. It's the only way to go. All right, question 4.
Question number 4. The solar industry employs how many people directly and indirectly in the United States?
I do not feel good about my answers today. All right, it is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here with you. Tyler Watkins is to my right, and Steve Bator with IQ Power Solar is to my left on the red microphone. Are you ready to score this game, gentlemen? All right, Tyler, what was question number 1?
As of 2018, what is the value of the solar industry?
Steve Bator, IQ Power Solar, what did you say?
I said 1 billion.
1 billion. I went way higher. Normally, you always guess high on this game. I went with $10 billion. Tyler's going to say like 30 billion. Watch.
Roughly around there, 160 billion.
I don't know what the value of the industry is.
I'm sorry.
I forget.
There you go.
It's my fault. I was-
That's my bad. All right. Question number 2.
To date, how many solar installations have been made in the United States?
All right. I had no answer really, so I went with 2 million installations to date. Steve Bator,
I guess 300 million.
300 million to date. All right. What is the right answer?
You must have looked at the answer. It's 2 million.
Oh, what? Really?
Right
my
on the
God.
money.
Technically, every solar attic fan installed ever is an install.
Yeah, I think
So
they were probably talking about whole house installations. All right.
I overanalyzed this.
Yeah. Question number 3.
40 gigawatts of energy can power approximately how many homes?
Now, please, I have no earthly idea, but go ahead, Steve. What do you think?
What did you guess, Justin?
I went with 200,000 homes.
I guessed 80,000.
80,000. What is the right answer?
6.5 million
What the heck is so, look, sometimes I question the.
No one lives in them.
the
There's no
accuracy.
power being
Yeah,
used.
Exactly. It's all one person households. Vacation
I think
homes.
I should create the questions next time.
All right. Question number 4. Final question for tonight's Stump the Clarky. Go ahead.
The solar industry employs how many people directly and indirectly in the United States?
I went with 200,000, probably more, but
Indirectly so vague. I guess 2
I know.
million.
2 million. You're probably you got that one. I'm sure. What is it?
370,000.
Oh, thank goodness.
Indirectly.
All right.
What does that even mean?
I
give up. I
knows.
surrender.
All right. Thank you for playing at home.
Okay, goodbye, folks. Hope you can join us again. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, Fulton Alum. All right. Steve Bator's here, IQ Power Solar, for a free energy assessment of your home. What do you call it? When you go in, what do you call that?
A solar energy consultation or energy assessment?
Solar energy consultation. I want you to give him a call at IQ Power Solar. The best phone number and the website again, Steve, is what?
407-585-1018 or iqpowersolar.com.
So not only have you done my home, I know for a fact you did another good friend of ours over in Tampa's home as well. And I'm paying $500 in electricity. He was paying like what, $800?
Yeah, man.
And what did you do for him?
We did his pool pump. We did a couple of different things to make his house more efficient. And he redid his AC, and we got his bill down to an average of $70-$80.
Unbelievable. And how long does an install like that take? I mean,
It took us 2 days.
Really? That's
And
it?
that's only because it's a tile roof.
And I mean, he must be so thrilled, right? Is he just like singing your praises all the time?
Well, I don't want to say his name, but you know him. He runs the AC, leaves the windows open.
Oh,
So
yeah. He's that
if he
guy.
just lived normal now, he'd have a negative $50 bill.
And yeah, exactly. And I think he sits outside and watches TV on his porch a lot.
He's
as well,
not.
is
He
my
doesn't
understanding.
compromise the quality of life for anybody. So
Exactly. And another thing about solar, and I almost hate to say this, but I've told people over the years that buying a house is better than renting a house, because if you rent a house and the proverbial you know what hits the fan, as a tenant, you're going to be kicked out in 30 days, right? You're just gone because you're just a tenant. They just have to boom, boom, boom. In Florida, if you buy a house, the bank has to foreclose on you. So you're going to have a year or two before you actually have to leave the house, or by that time you're going to be back on your feet. Same with electric for the electric companies. You don't pay your electricity bill for a month or two. What do? They shut your lights off. With solar, and I'm not telling you not to pay your bill by any means, but with solar, you're going to have a little bit of a leeway on that payment where 3-4 months go through a tough time. We can catch up later, right? There's just no doubt about it. And I'm sorry to tell you that position, but that's just really how it works. And we're going to tell you more things about solar. Can solar really take you from $500 to $50 a month like it does me? And is it really going to increase the value of your home? Right on the other side of this very quick break. One more segment ahead. It's Behind the Law. All right, I've got so much more here. What am I
I'm
missing?
embarrassed by how off my numbers were. I'm gonna go home and just study random stats.
What else? What am I missing? Big picture here.
No, I think you're knocking it out. I mean, so if you want to look at what people, ask questions about, they say, okay, what?
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. didn't mean 30. I meant like $30 of that one Friday paycheck. We take $30 out of each paycheck. Because I grew up. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Absolutely. All right.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program. Justin Clark here with you on a Thursday night edition of Behind the Law. Thanks for spending your evenings here with me on our favorite sports radio station, ESPN 580 Orlando. Tyler Watkins is here to my right. Steve Bator with IQ Power Solar joins us today as well. We're talking all things solar. So, Steve, let's say I hire IQ to come in and do the assessment. Again, you told me it's totally free. It's not going to cost me a penny to bring you in.
Correct.
And then if I were to say, okay, here's the go-ahead, what kind of a down payment do I need to give you to really get these panels on my roof?
All the programs that we try to get our clients enrolled in, there are no down payment programs.
You know, sometimes when I see a client that comes into my office and they've been stressed out for 3 years because their credit has just piled up. They literally can't afford to put food on the table of their family because they're paying American Express $600 a month towards their credit. And when I tell them we're going to end up filing bankruptcy, and when you leave my office, the only thing I want you to do is not pay Amex ever again. When you put solar on someone's house and you say, Mr. Jones, I want you to know next month your bill for Duke or whoever it's going to be is not $500 anymore. It's $50. I mean, how does that make them feel?
They ask what the catch is. You know, you asked a question earlier, why isn't solar on every roof? And I'll tell you something. People that make an obscene amount of money or are very, very wealthy, they don't care that much. They just pay the $1,000 bill. And people that are really struggling that need a better electric bill than most, they can't get qualified for some of the programs. But I'll tell you, we have programs that are decently easy to get into. And not only that, there are programs that are not credit-based, but that's based on their zip code. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of ads are like, oh, what's your zip code? But those are not genuine ads, so people don't believe this. But there's certain areas that have programs that are not based on your credit, and you don't carry the debt on your credit. So, you know, if you're in Kissimmee, if you're in Melbourne, if you're in Orlando proper, if you're in certain parts of Apopka, there are genuine areas that your credit does not matter. It doesn't matter if you have a 500 beacon score.
Is that right?
If you just own your house, you're current on your mortgage and your taxes.
Certainly, if you live in those areas, call IQ Power Solar today. The phone number is
407-585-1018. Yeah, that's an insane program. It just came out in these corridors.
Unbelievable. So let's say that I'm one of these guys, which I have been that guy for the longest time. You know, at the end of the month when I see my statement, I get mad that, you know, it was $500 to Duke or whoever I have. I would get kind of like mad, but I would just keep doing it because just the rite of passage. You just pay your electric bill every month because you have to have the lights on, allegedly. But not only am I paying $500 a month, next year it's going to be $550 or $530. It's going up every single year no matter what, right?
4 to 11% based on the utility company.
But if I were to put solar on my house, does it go up at all?
Well, technically, you can't get charged for electricity you don't buy. You can't get taxed for electricity you're not buying. So if you have a remaining, you know, if your bill's $500, you're using about 3,500 kilowatt hours. If your bill's $50, you're probably only buying about 200 kilowatt hours. So instead of going up $50, your bill will go up $1.
Well, you know, if I'm going from $500 a month and it's going up 10%, that it's going to go up significantly. But if I'm only paying $40 a month, 10% of that's not a huge number.
I mean, and it won't go. It's not really 10% usually, but here's the big thing: the first 1,000 kilowatt hours you buy are at a much lower rate than everything over 1,000 kilowatt hours.
Really, I didn't know that.
So not only are you not getting increases on your whole bill, but you're getting increases on a much smaller rate portion.
Talk to me a little bit about home insurance. So let's say I put solar on my home. Is my insurance going to skyrocket?
No, not usually. That's a good question, though. Solar systems are broken into tiers. Any tier 1 investment, which is what 90% of people purchase, that's less than a 10 kW system, which is AC, which is about 11.3 kW DC. So and most homes buy between a 5 and 8.5 kW system. So no, absolutely not. Now, if you're buying a much bigger system like our friend, you have to have $1 million policy. But most of the time, if you have the kind of house that demands a bigger system, you already have that policy.
So it's really not going to affect it in any way.
Not much. Okay. Not to any catastrophic amount that makes the decision not make sense.
Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando, Justin Clark here, talking to Stephen Bator, IQ Power Solar. We live in a hurricane state, Steve. Some of us have these terrible visions of another Irma rolling through and these panels just flying down the street. I mean, are they safe?
Yeah, more than likely they'll be the last thing remaining on the roof.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, solar isn't just attached to the decking of your roof. These racks are installed into your roof with a 3.5-inch lag bolt.
That's it, huh?
They're installed in the trusses of your roof. So, if shingles are flying off that have a couple nails in it, that's nothing like a 3.5-inch threaded lag bolt going into the trusses of your roof. Yeah. So much different.
So they're going to stay there. I mean, more than likely, they're not going anywhere.
And the roof under it.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, unbelievable. So also, we know that we get this tax credit, and this is a really important tax credit for you guys. Especially if you're going to owe taxes at the end of the year, this could really help you tax-wise for that year. But also, it's going away, or it's being reduced here soon. So if we're going to get solar, now would be a better time than next year at this time. It just would. This tax credit not going away. But it's easing up a little bit, right?
It's dropping substantially. Easing is an understatement. But here's the reality of it, Justin. You're paying your electric bill every month. If you're an average person going to work, getting a check every 2 weeks, having your taxes withheld, you're paying taxes. So at the end of the year, it's either you've spent $300 a month on your electric for the whole year, and then you're surrendering the taxes you've already paid, or you're eliminating a large part of your electric bill, and you're getting a large portion of your taxes that you paid surrendered back to you, but you're paying for it anyway. You're either paying the electric company or you're paying for your system. The difference is you can pay off the solar.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So, and I think obviously these tax credits and things are because it's good for the environment at the end of the day, but is that true? I mean, is solar good for the environment, and why is it?
No, absolutely. It reduces your carbon footprint. I mean, it's renewable energy versus burning coal or some of the other non-renewable sources. So, and that's what we do. We constantly reduce carbon footprints, and it's the way to be.
Let's say that I'm not sure. I'm in Orlando for a few years. I own a house here, but I could be transferred out to California for my job 2 or 3 years from now. And I might end up renting the house. I might not sell it. I might end up renting it. I mean, what do you think about that sales pitch to a renter? Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, your electric bill here is not $400, it's $4D. I mean, doesn't that help you rent the house at the end of the day?
Yeah, so, we have a couple of different customers that have done that. And also, if you buy solar today, you're going to get a large part of your investment back in the first year. If you think you're saving a couple grand the first year on electricity, and then you're getting 30% back as a tax credit, within 3 years' time, you've already recovered 40 to 50% of your investment. It's not like, if it's a 10-year ROI, it's 10% every year. No, you get a lot, 40, 45% back year one. But then more importantly, yeah, of course. As a matter of fact, Ali with Mehta Builders, he had a renter that was like, man, I got to move out because the electric bill's $400. And he called me, and the renter was threatening to leave. And he's like, will you go look at this? And we did a couple of things and got it down to, $220, I think, and the guy stayed.
I mean, renters do care about that electric bill. There's no doubt.
In a proactive fashion, they care, but sometimes in a reactive way, they just can't live there, man.
Do solar panels make my house look ugly?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, are there things that you can do to sort of even hide them if someone doesn't want them there? You know?
Well, we don't. I mean, we're not really big into putting ugly systems up. If you care, if you treat the house like it's your house, you can usually do things in a way where it's appeasing to the eye. But to be honest, a lot of times you can't even see it. For instance, my whole house is solar. You have to literally go 7 or 8 houses around the bend to see through yards to see my solar panels.
I think they actually look cool. Actually, I mean, to me, it looks like kind of cool, like almost a Tesla. You know what I mean? I feel like it's new age, and I think it makes houses look pretty cool.
And you know what's funny, Justin, is you have a couple of solar panels on the front of your house.
I never knew.
You can't even see them.
I never knew.
It's on the second story.
Yeah, I never even knew. It's quite unbelievable. Stephen Bator, IQ Power Solar. I got sick of paying this outrageous electric bill my whole life, so I made the switch to solar, and there's no other company out there that you need to call other than IQ Power Solar. Steve, phone number, website, one more time.
407-585-1018, and that's iqpowersolar.com.
And don't forget to watch Steve and I this Saturday at 12:30 over on CBS. He's going to talk all things solar over on You Have Real Estate. Good job today, buddy.
So excited.
We'll do this again soon. Tyler Watkins, I don't know much, buddy, but I do know one little thing.
What does that say?
I will see you right back here tomorrow night, Friday night,
I'm never playing Stump the Clark again.
on ESPN 580 Orlando.